It's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Okay, so this morning, the video that we're going to look at, or what I'm going to talk about in this video, is I think most of us will remember, if you're interested in true crime, you will remember this crime, which these two young girls were savagely murdered in Delphi in Indiana. And Richard Allen, who I'm not going to show his photo, don't even, I mean, his photo is on the thumbnail. I don't really even want to talk about him, but we have to talk about him, unfortunately, because he's appealing his conviction. Now, I just want to say, this case, it's a bit like the American Lucy Letby case, isn't it? Because people are so divided. Some people are convinced that Richard Allen is innocent, or that even though he's been found guilty, by a jury, and that is, the process, and he's been found guilty, but he's got the right to appeal, and he is appealing, which is unfortunate for the families because they've got to go through everything again. But yeah, very similar to the Lucy Letby case in the UK. Although they've been found guilty, as many people are convinced they're innocent of the murder of these two young girls. But what we do know is somebody murdered these two young girls. It is horrific. Anyway, an important piece of evidence that convicted Richard, and not only the bridge guy video that a lot of people are certain is him, and then of course it seems like there's just as many people are certain it was not him. It's one of those, isn't it? But also his voice, also the fact that he himself admitted he was there that day to watch the fish. As you do, you go and watch the fish, don't you? Anyway, I'm not going to go into all the different reasons why he was found guilty. Of course, there was the bullet that was found nearby that had come from his gun, etc. And for anything I say, somebody will come on and say, "Oh, well, no, it was this," because that's how this case has divided people everywhere. So many people certain that yes, it's a just verdict and he is guilty, and just as many other people say no, he's not guilty and he deserves a retrial. Hi Kelly, good morning. So or good evening to you, isn't it? Because of course you're over the other side of the world. So first thing I want to do what's happened is his own defense have released the full bridge guy video. So if you've been following this case, the bridge guy video was a very eerie video that was taken by one of the girls, was actually taken on their phone, watching the other girl coming over the bridge in the sort of national park where they were, this really high bridge, which I'm surprised that anyone wants to walk over it, to be honest. And one of the girls had the foresight, if you like, had the quick thinkingness to get her phone switched on and that's how we had the audio, that's how we had the video of the bridge guy in the first place. And also you see her friend coming over the bridge in front, and this guy is behind like this, like scary sort of presence behind, and you hear them talk a little bit now in this full video that's been released, because before all we really had was very short. I mean, it's only a very short video, to be fair, but we had very short clips of it, still photos from it. We didn't have like the full video. Now it's the defense that have released this video, so they must think for some reason that it helps to prove his innocence. But personally, I agree with you, Kelly. I think it makes me even more certain that it's him. But there you go. Let the legal system take its due process, and we'll see what happens. Will his appeal be successful or not? Anyway, first thing I'd like to do is thank everyone for watching, liking, subscribing. Of course, a special thank you to my members. Tonight is Thursday, so it's Members Live. And in tonight's Members Live, as well as talking about whatever else is going on that's important, I'm going to reveal who my guest is tomorrow night. I'm doing a Friday Night Live, and I will have a very special guest, and we're going to talk about an issue close to their heart and our hearts, and something that may save you, your life, or your loved one's life, some information, etc., advice. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow night. That will be a public interview, but tonight I will be revealing to my members. My members will be the first to know who it is. Okay, I also want to thank people who buy me Ko-fi, send me super stickers, or PayPal me, or email me with suggestions for cases, etc. It's always very interesting. Quite often things come through that I maybe haven't seen, haven't heard. I mean, I try and keep up with most things as much as I can, as you know. But yeah, it's great when people email. So I've not been very good with emails lately, because I have been getting a lot of emails, which is great. I'm not saying don't send me emails, but just be aware that sometimes I may not be able to respond immediately. I respond to the urgent ones if it's something urgent, but sometimes I just can't. But I always get round to reading them, and I 95% of the time get around to answering them. But so if you've sent me an email, you have not had a reply yet, don't think I'm ignoring you. Just time. There's not enough hours in the day, is there? Okay, so now I've said my thanks, I'm going to take my banner off. And let's have a look then at how this news broke. We'll have a look at a couple of news videos, and of course we're going to look at they all are all showing the video itself. So as I say, it's still not a very long video, but I just want to warn you, it's quite haunting because you do hear the girls' voices, and you hear Richard, to me, who's Richard Allen's voice, and it's very eerie to think of, that this was what happened after that. It's very eerie to think of. My personal opinion, I think he produced a gun. He produced his gun, made them go down the hill, and then it all went, that's what happened after that. And I think that Richard Allen undressed these girls, did whatever he did. He then washed them, or made them wash themselves, who knows which way round. And that's why the wrong clothes, the girl that was dressed, she had Abby, she had Libby's clothes on, didn't she? And that Libby had no clothes on. I think he put the wrong clothes on the wrong girl. This is literally just my own supposition, and I could be wrong. But for me, I wonder if he put the wrong clothes on the wrong girl, and they would have fitted Abby, because Abby was smaller than Libby. But then when he come to put Abby's clothes on Libby, I don't think they would have fit. Anyway, that's something that occurs to me. I think he probably did wash their bodies in the creek to try, because there was no DNA. So, of course, this is a great big thing that people think proves that he is innocent, because there was no DNA. There was really no DNA from anyone, except there was a hair from, was it Libby's sister, I think. Which makes people think that it's people saying that her own sister had something to do with it. That's not true at all. That's a horrible thing to accuse, I think. If you think somebody else did it, well, that's fine, but don't be blaming her own sister, who's already having to cope with the loss of her sister. Anyway, that's my own personal theory on what might have happened that day. But the one thing we definitely know happened was these girls were murdered. Quite brutally, we won't go into the details of how they were murdered, but it wasn't very nice, let's say. So, and I think then this Richard Allen, he had to go, he went home and he was bloody and muddy, according to somebody who saw him. He left a bullet at the scene. And yeah, he then lived in plain sight for quite a long time. You know, he lived quite a bit of his life before he was finally apprehended. He should be grateful for that, in my opinion. Okay, let's have a look at the first. But listen, I know everyone has their opinion. Everyone's free to give their opinion as long as they don't attack me or anyone else. You know, just accept that people have different opinions. You know, I have to accept that. People think he's innocent. Well, that's their choice, isn't it? But just don't attack anyone for having a different opinion to you. That's all I would say. So let's have a look. So apparently this has been released on the Richard Allen Innocence website, which I can't find.
Major new details in the Delphi Murders case. We're breaking down some newly released video showing the full bridge guy footage and where it's now coming from and also what happens next with it.
Plus, Logansport city leaders putting an officer now on paid leave. We're going to bring you all of those stories here tonight, but we begin with that breaking news in the Delphi Murders case as we get that new footage. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Dan Spieler.
And I'm Birshel Edmay. So again, this is coming the day after attorneys for Richard Allen filed a brand new appeal. Fox 59 Scarlett O'Hara has taken a look at this video, so she's walking us through it and what we now know.
In a 43-second cell phone video taken from Libby German's phone, you see both Abby Williams and Libby walking on the Monon High Bridge in Delphi in February 2017. We're about to play that video in its entirety, a first for anyone who was not in the courtroom for the trial of suspected killer Richard Allen. A warning, this may be difficult for some to watch.
Yeah, I want to just reiterate that warning again. It is quite difficult. So yeah, until now, the only people that had seen this whole video were the jurors or anyone who was in, in the family, of course. So it seems to me when Libby starts off taking the video and you can see Abby carefully coming along that bridge. Why anybody would want to go on that bridge, I don't know. It's so high. Made me go dizzy just even thinking about walking across it. But anyway, they have put barriers up now so that it's safer, along the side. So it seems that, let's just go to the beginning of it again. So it seems like initially, she's taken this video openly by the look of it. So all the stills that we saw leading up to the trial came from this video. You've got Abby there walking across the bridge. We've seen the stills of it, but we haven't actually seen her walking before, have we? We saw a little clip of Richard Allen walking across, but we didn't see we've not seen Abby walking across before. So it seems to me like this started off as an open video. She was taking it openly of her friend coming across the bridge. And when she started to feel uncomfortable about this guy, she's put the phone sort of down to her side, hasn't she? Like as if, but she's left it running. She's left it running. It's so quick thinking what she did, and thanks to her, really, or partly thanks to her, that this guy has been, put in his rightful place. It's very quick thinking of her to keep it running. She couldn't, point it directly at him. She was probably didn't want him to, realize she was doing that, but she left it running. So we can hear him speak, we can hear them speak, and we can see his legs, which it is Richard Allen. 100% in my mind it's Richard Allen, but everybody has their view, I suppose.
See, this is the path that we go down.
So hearing a little voice there as well, just reminds you how young they were, and she sounds rich. She goes, oh, this is the path here. She's probably trying to act normal. They're trying to act as if they're not really scared of this weirdo who's coming up behind them, like some Nosferatu character. So he had his hands in his pockets. I think 100% at some point he got out his gun or a knife or something. And then, so you hear her talk and then you hear him talk to them. I mean, I'm going to play it again, like without any commentary, if you like. I just want to discuss it this first time.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Yeah, so she says clearly there's no path down there, so we have to go down here. Now, I was I've got a few videos for us to watch. I was watching some videos. Somebody was saying it seems like they slid down this hill, because there was no proper path down there. But of course, we don't have any video of that. Yeah, then you hear that. Oh, God, honest to God, I can't even tell you the shivers that are going down my spine just hearing him say that. So then you hear him go, guys, and she says, hi. Hi, yeah, because, and he then takes them off and murders them. Oh, my God, this man is a monster. I think, we can't lose sight of what this man did. And oh gosh, honestly, I've got chills going up and down. Just him saying that, guys. And then she says, hi. And he goes down the hill. Let's just watch that bit again. And then...
We've seen clips of this video before. Police released images of Bridge Guy and his voice saying down the hill. All images that have previously been released to the public have been taken from this video. In the first few seconds, you can see Abby walking behind Libby and Bridge Guy following close behind. You also hear Libby talking to Abby.
See, this is the path that we go down.
A few seconds later, she says this.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Then 11 seconds later, you hear Bridge Guy say, The video ends 2 seconds later. The lead investigator did testify in the trial that he watched this video hundreds of times and believed one of the girls mentioned a gun, though his comment was stricken from the court record. This all comes a day after...
I didn't hear them mention a gun. I don't know if there's more to it. I don't know about you, but I didn't hear any mention of a gun. But I'm pretty sure he had a gun.
After attorneys representing Richard Allen filed a brand new appeal, I've reached out to those attorneys and his defense team, and I'm waiting to hear back. In the newsroom, Scarlett O'Hara, Fox 59 News.
Yeah, her voice is high because she's probably terrified, isn't she, Moonbeam? I think she knows there's something strange about this guy. She's a clever girl. They're both clever girls. You get instincts from someone. The way he was walking was sinister, wasn't it? If any of you who've ever gone out walking with your dog or whatever, how many people walk past you don't think anything of it, and then just suddenly you might get a little feeling. You have to, people have instincts and they have feelings about things. And what I've learned in my long life, though I still haven't learned it properly, follow your instincts. Sometimes you deny your instincts. You get feelings about people, or you get feelings about situations that don't seem quite right, and you sort of talk yourself out of it, don't you? You should never talk yourself out of it, because if you've got that gut feeling, that is 100% probably right. Let's have a look at this one. So everyone's been showing it, all the news channels. I'm going to probably upload it on my TikTok, just the video itself without commentary, so that people can watch it and listen to it when they want.
Breaking news, attorneys for Richard Allen have now appealed his conviction and sentence in the Delphi Murders case. Back in December, Richard Allen was sentenced to 130 years in prison for the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. On Tuesday, March 11th, his attorneys filed their appeal with the Indiana Court of Appeals. So that sets off some tight deadlines for the next steps of the case. The court clerk has 30 days to assemble a court record for this case. The recorder has 45 days to get a transcript. After that, Richard Allen's attorneys will file their brief. Allen's attorneys have raised several alleged issues with his trial in a motion to correct errors filed earlier this year. They include everything from Allen's initial hearing to the...
Look, you know what? I welcome it, the appeal in a way, because maybe once the appeal happens and it gets quashed, you know, people will stop this. But having said that, that's, you know, Lucy Letby, she has appealed several times, I believe, and it still hasn't stopped everybody claiming she's innocent. You know, this is sometimes, you know, in this world that we live in now, it's a divisive world. And because of social media and that, everyone, you know, has their opinion, which is fine. But the thing is, there's nothing more than that you can do than go through a legal process. You know, he's had his trial, he was found guilty. And if the defence didn't put up a good enough defence, same with Lucy Letby, you know, to me, or they're coming out with all this evidence now, why wasn't that presented at the trial? You know, and again, if Lucy Letby is innocent, which I don't think she is, and I don't agree that she's innocent. I think she's as guilty as anything. But I'd rather, you know, how long is it going to drag on? It's better that if there's any doubts or whatever, she gets her retrial, or I don't know, the appeal or whatever, how it happens. But you know, the people I feel for are the families. These two families, they've gone through hell again because they've been accused of doing stuff and people saying nasty things about them. Same with Shanann Watts and these victims, getting people digging in and saying horrible things about them and defending someone like Chris Watts or, you know, Scott Peterson, he's another one. What is wrong with these people? It's already happening with Brian Kohlberger, isn't it? Because he's like this pin-up spree killer, you know, everyone, he's got his fan club and he's... Oh, please, just respect the process of the country that you're living in. You know, the thing is, that is the process, and that's what appeals are for. It's so difficult to bring a case to trial in the first place, you know, and then if somebody is found guilty, they've got all these appeals and they go through the process. And, you know, I know that very occasionally you get miscarriage of justice. It's not very often, is it? But anyway, we'll see what happens.
Safekeeping order that held him in state prison before his trial to the evidence that was and was not shown in court. You can read our full breakdown of the appeal right now. It's posted on WTHR.com/Delphi.
Ooh, look at his eyes. He gives me the creeps. So they didn't play the video. Let's have a look at Court TV, what Vinny had to say.
In the state of Indiana, like no transparency whatsoever. Like basically what you're looking at is the level of transparency that the state of Indiana had in this investigation, limiting what the public knew when the case was unsolved. And then when they said they did solve it, it was with information that they had right out of the box. So there were problems with the investigation and the communication in this case. And then when it came time for the court case, obviously, no cameras. We don't want you to see it. We don't want you to hear any of the evidence in this case. And since the case has been over, everything still has been sort of tied up with a bow. Most states, the trial's over, the defendant's been sentenced, you know, some of the evidence in the case becomes public. Not in this case. There's just been no transparency. And I think for Abby and Libby, they deserve better here because the lack of transparency and the way the investigation was done, I think, slowed down the case and slowed down the ability to attempt to hold someone responsible. That's number one. Number two, there are still questions. And those questions all exist because nobody saw or heard the case. And this is a case where people, and there are other suspects, and the way the public has interpreted it, there's really no trust in what happened there because of all the strange circumstances, which again, come back to the transparency of investigators and then the court and the judge in this case. Now, Richard Allen was convicted. He was convicted beyond a reasonable doubt. The jury did not deliberate that long. They were convinced. Well,
no, they didn't deliberate for long. I mean, Vinny's obviously taking the opinion that maybe he's innocent, but, you know, which is fair enough. Everyone has said. Vinnie Politan, he knows what he's talking about, I suppose. And he's got his view. It's not my view, even though Vinny thinks it. And I like Vinny, but it's not my view. But, God, I've forgotten what I was saying there. Oh, yeah. So to me, yeah, he was found guilty very quickly. And he was given a massive sentence, and he was unanimously, you know, everybody before the verdict was saying, oh, it's going to be a hung jury and it's going to be this and it's going to be that. And maybe he's right. Maybe it's because maybe the public are so doubtful because they haven't even now seen everything from this case. They haven't seen what the jury saw. So the jury, you know, that's the way the American system and most systems around the world these days. It's the jury that decides whether someone is guilty or not. And the jury decided he was guilty for whatever they were shown during that trial. But maybe he's right. Maybe there should be some more transparency. Maybe that would put people's minds at rest more, you know, if it was more transparent. Because even this video coming out now, it's come out from the defense. It hasn't come out from the prosecution. Maybe there should be more transparency, and that would help. So I accept completely what he's saying there.
Well, they saw the evidence. I didn't, you didn't, unless you were in Delphi for this. So what does that mean? Like, why was he convicted? Well, one of the biggest pieces of evidence in all of this was the video of the bridge guy. And a little piece of that video had been made public while there was still a search for.
I think the bullet was another big piece of evidence. The fact he admitted to it many, many times, the fact he said he was on the bridge at the time, he was wearing the same clothes that bridge guy was wearing, is much more than the only thing that was missing was DNA. But there was nobody's DNA, you know, so it wasn't as if there's a mystery man's DNA on them. There was no DNA on them because he washed them in the creek. That's what I think. Apparently their clothes, I think, were soaking wet. Everything, he washed everything. You know, he took his time. And then, you know, he did see that white van apparently, did he? And in the end, he had to sort of hurry off. But he couldn't find his bullet. So anyway, it's not true that the only evidence is the video. That is not true. There was plenty of evidence. The only thing that was missing was DNA.
Or a killer, and they're looking for the public's help. Well, now the bridge guy video has been released. And we are going to see it. Now, it's 43 seconds long. You have to listen very closely. You have to watch very closely. So let's get to it, and let's play that video for you right now.
See, this is the path that we are on. There's no path going there, so we have to get down here.
Chilling, absolutely chilling to me, that video. But now I was thinking about it, and you know, he must have had a gun or a knife or something. Probably, well, he did have a gun because he left a bullet behind at the scene. Because those girls, they were young girls, and they were fit girls. I think especially Libby, she was into sports, wasn't she? And that they would have run away, slid down the hill, got away from him as quickly as they could. Except he probably had a gun. So if he had a gun, they're not going to run away because he could shoot them as they were running away. But I think if not, I think they could have easily outrun that man because he wasn't walking very quick, was he, along the bridge? I say that man, Richard Allen, that's who that was, Richard Allen. It's not a mystery guy. It's not Bridger guy. It's Richard Allen. And they could have easily outrun him, except he had, in my opinion, he had his gun on them. And they were too scared. And like we were just saying, you could hear in Libby's voice when she went, hi, you know, she was nervous. She's probably thinking, oh my God, you know, because, well, you know what you'd be like? Part of you would be thinking, this feels wrong, you know, and to get away. And then there's another part of you be thinking, no, it'd be fine. No, it can't. No, he's fine. You know, do you see what I'm saying? I think you'd be incredulous at first that this was happening. And then when he got the gun out and everything, then things take a serious turn, don't they? I didn't hear her mention a gun, though, like that policeman said she mentioned a gun, unless there's more to this video. I didn't hear that.
You heard the downhill at the end? It was kind of faint in the background. I heard it. There were also some whispers by Abby and Libby. And it seemed that they were not necessarily scared, but maybe very aware of this man on the bridge and probably a little concerned, but then they don't run away. They're looking for a path, and then he is there. Let's get some more insight. Joining us tonight, Court TV senior producer Barbara McDonald, who was at Richard Allen's trial, has covered this case from day one. Barbara, now all of us get to see this video. I want to go through it piece by piece. In the beginning, I hear a whisper, and it sounds like it could be coming from Abby. Did you hear a whisper? And if so, what did you hear in the beginning of that video?
I've seen this video now maybe 10 times. And what I hear is Abby saying something to the effect of, is he still there? Is he right there? Something like that. One of the things the state said that one of the girls says very clearly in the video is that be a gun. And I don't hear either girl say that in this video. We also, Vinny, don't know which version of the video this is. There was the original extracted version from Libby's phone, but then there were multiple versions that were enhanced. Some were stabilized. My understanding is initially the video might have been upside down. So we don't know if this is that original file. This was put out by the defense on a website that they're saying they're going to start putting this information out for transparency in this case. Richard Allen's appellate attorneys indicated today they are filing that appeal. They filed their notice. So this is likely all gearing up for that effort.
And, you know, as I watched the video, I'm wondering why it wasn't released in total from the beginning. I don't understand why, other than they have the ability, I guess, to not release it. So it seems that, yeah, there is an acknowledgement that he is there. I want to put a still frame up on the screen, which is from the video, which gives us some idea of the distance between Abby and the bridge guy. And when we take a look at that, I think we'll have a better idea of where everyone is. But it seems like they are relatively close to one another on that bridge. It's not. There's not a huge distance between the two, between Abby and the bridge guy who's right behind him.
Exactly. And that was a point that a lot of people picked up on at trial, because some of the people who viewed the video felt that he was much, much further behind Abby, and that there was perhaps an unattainable distance that he would have had to have made up to catch up to Abby. This video, from my perspective, shows that he is behind her some distance, but he's not really that far from her in this still photo that you can see. And you do notice in the video that Libby is already on the south side of the land. She is no longer on the bridge when she's recording this video. And then Abby manages to get off the bridge and sort of run past Libby and then stop there next to her. And they sort of wait for this man, telling him, you know, there's no path, so we would have to go down here. And they sort of wait for an answer and a direction from him. So it makes you really wonder what that interaction was between the three of them prior to this video being made.
Yeah, I want to play the little piece of the end of it now. And what we're going to do is we're going to boost the audio a little bit of the bridge guy. Let's take a look and a listen.
See, this is the path that we are down. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
She says something else in between there, doesn't she? She said before she says, "Oh, this is the." Let me just listen to that again. I haven't got headphones in. You might hear it better with headphones.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Before there.
I'll listen.
Yeah, one of them whispers something there. I think it is. Yeah, I think she is saying, "Is he still behind me, or is he behind me, or something like that?" There's definitely that whisper there.
See, this is the path that we are down.
Has he a gun? Oh, I heard it then. Did you hear that, or am I imagining it? She said, "Has he a gun, or has he got something about a gun?" Definitely. Let's listen again.
This is the path that we are down.
That be a gun? No, she definitely says that. Hi, David. Did we hear that? That be a gun. She said it. That's the first time I've noticed her saying it. Definitely says it. We'll listen again. Let me know if you can hear it or not. It sounded like that be a gun or something like that.
See, this is the path that we are down.
That be a gun. Or something similar. Definitely gun at the end of it. Again. Like, this is what the police said. Now, that's the first time I've heard it. It's only through listening over and over again.
Path that we are down.
That be a gun. Yeah. Did you hear that? Yeah, that's definitely, isn't it, David? That's the first time that I've heard that. And I've I'd already watched this video a couple of times before I started the stream. She definitely mentions a gun. See, it just makes sense. I mean, the thing is, things have to make sense. To me, it all makes sense. He's walking up behind him. Abby had whispered, "Is he still behind me?" They've come to the end of the trail there. There's no easy way that they can run. Otherwise, they would have just run away from him. But I think they would have had a go at running away from him anyway, except he's probably pointing the gun at them through his pocket, or maybe he's taken it out of his pocket by now. But of course, by now, Libby's had to put the phone down as if she's, she can't just stand there taking a video of him. Well, maybe she should have done that. But anyway, that'd be too sort of nerve-wracking, wouldn't it? Maybe if he realised he was being videoed like that. I mean, there's a lot of things you can think of in hindsight. Maybe the girls could have said, "Look, this is going directly to Snapchat. I'm taking this video of you. It's going directly on Snapchat. So not sure what you're thinking of doing, but don't do it because you're being broadcast to the world." There's a lot of things in hindsight maybe she could have done, but she did the best thing she could do. She was so quick thinking in taking the video in the first place, wasn't she? And that's what helped convict this man. And Richard Allen, I'm sorry, that is Richard Allen. And it just makes sense the way he did it. He's come over that bridge. He's been waiting for a chance. There is possibility that he did this before as well. There's another case over where he was living at the time, a similar case, 2 girls disappearing and being murdered. So there's a possibility that he has done this before, because of course it's unusual to get to 50 without doing anything. You know, it makes sense that he'd come up, he'd point a gun at them, and then she'd probably too scared then to carry on with the video. Maybe even realise then that she still had her phone on. You know, we don't know what happened after that. But I'm going to watch it one more time, and I definitely hear poor Libby saying he got a gun, or is that a gun or something. Hi, KW. So it makes sense. Otherwise, these young, fit girls, they would have run away from him. He wasn't that fit and healthy. Do you know what I mean? They could have outran him probably quite easily, I think. But they couldn't because they were too scared. Let's just go back to the beginning of the video again. Yeah, they were found on Valentine's Day, these girls. February the 14th, 2017, bless them.
End of it now, and what we're going to do is we're going to boost the audio a little bit of the bridge guy. Let's take a look and a listen.
See, this is the path that we are on. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
So the interpretation of that back and forth when they're talking.
Personally, as well, I think they sounded, or one of them at least, sounded like even like they might have been crying there. They sounded upset. Now that when they've boosted that audio, it sounded like they were crying. The thing is, I know, you know, in hindsight, it's easy to say, but my advice to anybody, if there's anybody out there who's ever in a position where somebody puts a gun on you and tries to take you somewhere, I've watched enough true crime videos to know if they want to take you off somewhere in a car or down somewhere where it's private, you'd be better off being shot where you stand. You know, that would be my advice. If somebody tried to get me in a car with a gun, I'd just stand there and say, shoot me then. They're not getting in your effing car. If you want to kill me here. There'll be loads of DNA, loads of evidence and whatever. I'm not having them taking me off to some private place where they can do whatever they like. And, you know, nobody can hear. No, you want to kill me, you kill me, but you kill me here and you leave as much evidence behind. That's what, and then, you know, you've got a 50-50 chance, haven't you? Once they take you away, you haven't got a 50-50 chance. You've got no chance. And it's difficult for these girls, I know, because there were 2 of them and they were probably trying to protect each other. You know, if it's just you on your own, it's like, you're just like, okay, shoot me then. You know, shoot me now. I mean, at the end of the day, I'd rather you shot me right here trying to get me in the car than even, you know, if they were hiding a gun like and they're, well, I've got a gun here, get in the car and nothing and you'll be fine. Of course you won't be fine. You know, you're not going to be fine. Better that they shoot you there in front of people or on the street or wherever they're trying to abduct you from. Like on that trail where people walked and that. Better there. And you've got a chance, you know. First of all, will they have the, you know, will they just think, God, it's not worth it and run off? She's the likely scenario. They're not going to want to shoot you there where they might be seen and might be caught. And, you know, they can't control the crime scene, etc. He was very, in my opinion, Richard Allen is very forensically aware. And I think he knew if he washed those girls, washed their clothes, dragged it, put them through the creek and that, there would be no DNA. And his biggest mistake was leaving that bullet at the scene. That was his mistake. And so I think it's wrong to say there's no evidence. There's the video, there's the bullet, there's the fact he admitted he was there, there's the fact he confessed over 60 times he was wearing the clothes. He looks like Bridge Guy. He is Bridge Guy, in my opinion. So personally, I don't think there is any doubt. I don't think his appeal will get anywhere. But I think what will happen now is we'll see things from the defence, like they did with the Odinism rubbish and all the distractions. The defence played really dirty in his trial, and they still couldn't get him off. So I think they'll be very, I don't think this appeal will go anywhere. I certainly hope not, but I don't think it will, because I don't think there's any grounds. You know, what new evidence are they going to present? You know, the cases, they've been found guilty, unanimous verdict, quick verdict by the jury. And there's nothing new to present. You know, in fact, if anything, that video that they've just presented makes him look more guilty.
About the path, are you interpreting it that they're already acknowledged that the Bridge Guy is going to make them go down a path, or are Abby and Libby trying to figure out where a path is? Because what I don't hear the panic necessarily at that moment from them, although I hear something as she's running by, right?
I'll tell you what, Vinny, you know, talk about you can go off people. You can't hear the panic. Where's his, anyone can hear the panic in her voice when she goes hi and says what she's saying. She even sounds to me like she might be crying. Vinny, how can you not hear it? Sorry, you know, your spidey sense is not working in this case. Sorry, but it's not.
Right? As Abby runs by, that's when she says something.
Well, and then when he says guys, some people say that she responds hi. I don't think she's saying hi. I think that's more of a like being startled by him.
Oh, for God's sake, of course she's saying hi. Oh my God, what's wrong with these people? Sometimes I wonder, you know, what? Of course she says hi. That's exactly what she goes, hi. But she sounds nervous. She sounds like she might even be crying after that. There's a lot of sniffing going on. Honest to God, these people, sometimes you think, where's your intuition? Where's your, you know, I don't think she said hi. Of course she said hi. Fool. God, I've got angry now.
She seems, to me, Abby in this video seems more concerned. Libby, we don't see her face. Her voice sounds very calm.
No, it doesn't.
But, you know, her family has also described her as somebody who would stay calm in a situation like that. And perhaps Abby might not have. You know, again, just the sadness of this video. This is the final minutes of these girls' lives. This is a story.
Somebody, so people say, oh, it's not Rich Talent, it looks nothing like him. They're the clothes he said he was wearing on the day. You know, sometimes you have to, you know, bring things down to earth. He's got those jeans on that are all crumpled up at the end because he's a bit of a little short house, isn't he? So, and he's there, he's got his head sort of down as much as he can, his hands in his pockets where he'll have a gun. No doubt he's got a gun in his pockets. And to me, looks exactly like Richard Allen. You know, exactly like him. I just don't understand why people say it doesn't. And you know, the other thing I don't understand is why his wife doesn't. And I think his wife is in denial. She's just not having it. Now, we've seen a few times in videos lately the absolute you cannot underestimate the power of denial when somebody does not want to believe that their little Johnny or their husband or their little girl has done something terrible. People don't want to believe it. They will not believe it. I've watched a million videos with people either married to or parents of people who are clearly you know, who clearly guilty, even people who've admitted to it. That one that we watched recently about Sarah Stern, her two friends from that she'd known since she was 6 years old, involved in her murder. One murdered her, the other helped him hide the body. One of them actually admitted to it, told the police everything that happened. But the other one, his mum still doesn't believe that he did it. Even though he confessed, his friend confessed and said everything that had happened. And he confessed as well himself in that private, you know, he was set up by the police. Another of his friends took him off and got him to confess while he was secretly filming him. But his mum still doesn't believe he did it. You cannot underestimate the power of denial. And I think that his wife knows exactly that that is him on that bridge, but she's just determined she's not going to believe it. And he even confessed to her several times, and she just kept saying to him, no, you didn't, no, you didn't. And he's going, no, I did. She's going, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. What more can he do?
That I've certainly covered for 8 years. And yeah, it's sad to see this. It's sad to see this video.
So I think there's two ways to interpret the video. And originally, you know, this is the first time I'm seeing it, right? Tonight is the first time I'm seeing this video. But I always wondered, was the video, you know, to take a picture of my friend crossing the bridge? And she looks like she's gingerly crossing it. I mean, it's a very treacherous bridge. I would never walk over it myself. It's old, it's crickety, there's slats. You can see they redid it here. But when you look at the original bridge.
Yeah, so they've put, I mean, I can't believe that was up there for so long without these protective barriers. You know, that bridge, anyway, that's by the by. It's been done up now. It's been made safe. It's an iconic bridge there. But, you know, I don't believe that Libby took that video just to take a video of Abby. It's possible, I suppose. Maybe she started off to take a picture of a video of Abby crossing the bridge and then noticed the man, you know, behind her. And then that's why she stayed videoing even after she had to put the video down to her side. But I think these people are watching something completely different to me. To me, it's clear that Libby was scared. It's clear that Abby was scared. She clearly said hi, and it was clearly said he has a gun or has he a gun or something like that. It's clear as day. What's wrong with these people?
I mean, that was not something that I would walk over myself. And I was wondering if the purpose of the video was to capture the moment of her, Abby, you know, crossing the bridge. And I was wondering if that's why they were separated, so one could take a picture of the other. But now I'm almost getting a different flavor for it, that maybe it was because of this man who was following them.
Of course it was.
And I believe there was some sort of an interaction, some conversation that had these girls concerned that, you know, perhaps he said something to them like, you're not supposed to be here and I'll show you how to get away to where you can be. We just don't know. None of that came out in Richard Allen's trial, any interaction prior to this video. And the state's case at trial was that if they can.
Girls down the hill, that's what he said, and then he had a gun on them. This is obvious. So I don't know where this woman's intuition is. He's not, well, I say he's not going to tell. He might tell one day when all the appeals are, you know, fail. He probably wants to confess, and he's probably being told not to or something by his wife. You know, just if so. Now, yeah, so Ron Logan was the guy that died, wasn't it? That, of course, there was, because he did tell some lies, didn't he? But then it turned out that he had actually lost his license and he was driving. So he didn't want to tell the truth that where he'd been because he'd driven somewhere and he wasn't supposed to be driving anywhere. He'd asked somebody to say they'd taken him somewhere, hadn't he? So to me, that makes sense as well. When things make sense. You know, he was a man who was barred from driving, and where he'd been that day, he'd driven somewhere. So he asked somebody to lie for him, didn't he, and say they'd driven him there or they'd done something. That makes sense. Also, he's a very tall man, Ron Logan. Great big tall man. Not this guy is not tall. You know, I bet he's about, what, 5'4", 5'5", he looks to me. If you can see that in the perspectives, you know, if you go for the perspectives, he's not any taller than Abby. You know, probably 5'3", 4, 5, possibly at the most. He's not a tall guy. Ron Logan was a big, tall guy, and he had a dodgy leg, as you say, David. So I don't think that for a minute. Now, you know, I think it was Moonbeam just said that it's possible. Did he have help? Maybe he did have help. But there's no doubt in my mind that this is him on the bridge. And they've said from the beginning that the bridge guy is the killer. And so to me, bridge guy, that is not bridge guy. I'm going to stop calling it bridge guy. It's Richard Allen. It's Richard Allen. It's not bridge guy. And it's about time people realize that. You know, it's obvious.
Prove that Richard Allen is bridge guy, then they can prove that Richard Allen killed these two girls. And that's what the jury believed, is that that video shows Richard Allen.
Yeah, I was wondering if the voice was the bridge guy. I'm 1,000% convinced that it's the bridge guy just because of the proximity and everything else. But now the question is, you know, if there's a successful appeal, what happens then? But just seeing this at least gives us some idea of what Abby and Libby confronted in that moment by the bridge. Barbara McDonald, Court TV senior producer, working overtime for us again. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Well, I don't appreciate it. I think your commentary is rubbish. So there you go. Anyway, so just one other thing I want to show you before I go. So there's a crowdfunding page for Richard Allen. Oh my God, look at him. So there's a crowdfunding page. If you want to donate, oh my God, they've raised $40,000. $40,000 for a man who's slit the throat of two young girls. Just honestly, I mean, everyone's got the right to do what they want with their own money, but goodness me. So this is organised by David R. Hennessy Law Office. This is the official expert expense fund for Richard Allen. Richard Allen was once employed as a licensed pharmacy technician at the CVS in Delphi, Indiana. There you go. If you want to get $40,000 for your legal defence, just go out and slit the throats of two young girls. On October 31st, Mr. Allen was 2022. Mr. Allen was arrested for a crime that he maintains he did not commit. Well, now he does, but he did confess to it over 60 times. Mr. Allen has been accused of committing Abby and Libby's murders, but he is investing everything he has to fight for his freedom. He is presumed innocent until proven guilty. This is before he was found. Not now, he's been found guilty, and he has an absolute right to a fair trial, which of course he does, which is currently being violated, and funds are raised to pay expenses related to expert fees and costs. So what they mean is to pay his wages. That's what it means. You donate into that to pay David R. Hennessy's wages. If he's so convinced he's innocent, why doesn't he do pro bono or whatever, and claim his expenses back from the state or whatever? He's just, honestly, this is just a money-making scheme. Note, on the 30th of March 2024, the fund's target goal was increased by $20,000. We have identified the experts needed, and the cost of fees, travel and lodging are greater than originally anticipated. Strange that, isn't it? Please be advised that no funds collected will be offset against fees related for David Hennessy's law firm. Well, if you believe that, you believe anything. Richard Allen's defence team, or to Richard Allen. Donations are not tax deductions. So yeah, they're on 40,000. off their $40,000 goal because they increased it. So they've not got any further than that. Oh, and that's something I want to show you as well. This, you know, it feels like sometimes, because every time we put a video out about Richard Allen, there's lots of people jump on it and say he's innocent and he's this and that. But really, when you look at it, there's not that many support him, really. Not that many support this horrible guy. When you really look into it, I think most people support the family, and so they should. So I just want to show you this Facebook group. You know, the Facebook groups, they're a joke, aren't they? Just feels like on Facebook, you know, what do the families make of these things anyway? Let's share this. Justice for Richard Allen. Oh my God, just see how it makes my blood boil. Makes my blood boil that people are more keen to protect a man who has viciously murdered 2 young girls than they are to, you know, than they care about these girls' families who've gone through hell. Just disgusting, I think. Yeah. But the thing is, there's only 170 members. Justice for Richard Allen, 170 members. So, you know what I mean? It's hardly... So they believe this guy, true crime design. The fuckery never ends in this case. This is the fakest thing I've ever seen. Horrible acting. Bree and Kelsey exit stage left. So Kelsey is Libby's sister. So these crazies, I'm sorry, they are crazies, these fools. They are accusing her own sister because there was a hair on Abby, I think, one of Kelsey's hairs. Abby had on one of Kelsey's sweatshirts. That sweatshirt she's got on belonged to Kelsey. How strange. Oh my God. How did Kelsey's hair get on her? Oh my God. It must be, you know, Kelsey must have murdered her. Absolute fools. Yeah, so someone's gone on there sensible. I think this is crazy talk. In fact, I'm going to like that because I agree. Yeah, and the videos on there, etc. Look, you have got to be kidding me. Oh, shut up, you fool. Ah, gosh, what's wrong with people? Anyway, takes all sorts to make a world, doesn't it? And of course, they all hate Judge Gull. Now, maybe they're right in a way. Maybe what Vinny said is true. Maybe there hasn't been enough transparency in this case, and maybe that is why everyone's so sort of arsey about it and determined that he's been, you know, a victim. He's a victim rather than a double murderer of children, a double child murderer. That's what Richard Allen is. He's not a victim. He's a double child murderer, convicted, sentenced to, what was it, 130 years in prison or something like that. He is a convicted double child killer until anything is proven otherwise. We'll see. Yeah, 170 members, Kelly. 107. I've got more students than that. No, I haven't. I wish I did have 170 students. But, you know, it's hardly a load of people, is it? So, okay. So I ended up getting angry then. I didn't mean to get angry because I'm trying to present both sides. But it's very difficult to present both sides, isn't it, when you're talking about double child murderer? You know, how can you defend him? I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. There's no reason to think that he's innocent. Yeah, and do you know what? I bet he's not doing that now, Kelly, because he's not. That was all a big show. You know, he admitted it and he was confessing to it, and then suddenly he decided he didn't do it, didn't he? And losing weight, trying to change his appearance. How much has his appearance changed? You know, that's deliberate as well, I think. You know, when he came to court, he was like that little old man sat in the corner. I don't think he looks like that now. I think he's going back to the healthy guy he was before. So, you know, it's all a ruse. And, you know, I'm sorry, I think his wife knows 100% that he did it. And I think her denial, how she could, you know, that was your husband there on the bridge there, you would recognise him. She would recognise the clothes, if nothing else. You know, even if he's got his hat pulled down or what, she knows what clothes her husband's got, surely. Anyway, so I'm off. I'll be back later, if not before, I'll be back for the members live. So don't forget, we've got a very interesting live coming up tomorrow night. I've got a special guest. And tonight in the members live, I'm going to reveal who that guest is. And I think you will be really interested to hear what this person's got to say. And, you know, they're going to talk about anything really. And probably if you want to ask questions, I'm sure they'll be glad to answer your questions as well, because they're a very open person and they just speak their truth. And that's what they're going to do tomorrow night. And who knows what might come out. You'll know what I mean when you know who it is. You don't know what might come out in this. And this person, they just speak honestly from the heart. And anything they say will be honest and from the heart, whether people like it or not. So, a bit like me, really. All you can do is be yourself, can't you? You know, and say what you genuinely, honestly and truthfully think. And, you know, sometimes people will like it and agree with you. Sometimes they won't. Even, you know, regular chatters, sometimes they'll agree with me. Sometimes they won't. But you know what? We speak from the heart. That's the most important thing. You speak from the heart. You may be wrong sometimes. Not me, though, of course. No, I'm only joking. But yeah, we could be wrong sometimes. But you always speak your truth. You speak from your heart. And you can't do any more than that, can you? And people have to respect that, even if they don't agree with you. So that's the way I feel. And this person, I'm really looking forward to it, because they're just like me. They speak from their heart. They say what they really think. They've been through so much in their life. They don't care what trolls think. They don't care what anybody else thinks about the opinions they have, because they've been through so much. How can this, you know, how can it matter what these people say? You know, the horrible people. Can't matter. And that's how you get to a point, isn't it? You know, sometimes when you get trolls or whatever, and you just think, God, you know, I've been called worse things by people that I actually cared about. You know, so just that you don't know what I've been through in my life. So, you know, do you think you're really going to affect me? And that's sort of the stage you get to in the end. And this person who's coming on tomorrow night, they've been through trolling and that, and you won't believe it when you hear about it, that how anyone could troll this person. But you know, this is what these people do. Okay, so I'm off. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave your DNA on the like button. And as always, I'll see you really soon in the next video. Bye. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Adios. Oh, adios. Bye.